For somebody who's interested in establishing a consulting career,
Mm-hmm.
how do you identify consultants? You mentioned that you can register your CV on your website. We often hear from candidates that they think doing that is submitting into a black hole and nobody's ever going to find them. So how do you identify those consultants, and what can a consultant do to promote themselves more and their services to an organization like RTI?
So the best way is still through networking. I know most organizations, RTI included, will post calls for consultants, and often will put up scopes of work that we're looking for, potentially either on our careers page or affiliated with a particular project in their website. But really, a lot of times, especially in the world of consulting, it's all about who you know and who's recommending the work that you're doing. So I would say it's really important in that case to maintain strong contacts, particularly if you can get contacts with different donor clients. So if you can work directly with the USAIDs, the World Banks, the UN, they often use a lot of consultants and short-term technical expertise for various things, from program design and evaluation to guidance and implementation. And that pool also then becomes a really heavily tapped pool that people in country will often turn to their clients and ask for recommendations, for example, of different people that they've used in the past that they've really seen good work from. As far as the online submission of a CV to a portal, that's the reality, of course. More organizations are and should be kind of moving towards contact management through electronic databases, which does not mean that it exists in nowhere. I'm one of the people that has to go into the database and actually look at CVs, so I can promise you that it happens. So I think that for consultants, the same rule applies as if you're applying for a full-time position, which is, there's no way that your entire breadth of experience is directly relevant to that particular scope of work or that particular role that you're wanting to fill. So the first step is to take a look at that and just be brutally honest and cut out the pieces that are not necessarily relevant. And there's a way to structure and frame your resume then to say, you can say relevant selected consulting experience, and that you can provide more, if you're worried about presenting gaps in your resume. Maybe make sure that you have a cohesive and coherent timeline. So if you're switched over and did something in education for 5 years and want to come back into health, and you have kind of this breadth of experience, maybe include one or two of the irrelevant or less relevant consulting, so that you can keep the timeline and it doesn't look like a gap in your employment history. But at the same time, just be realistic about really, and not just thinking, okay, well, I'll cut out and only put in my health ones, but go beyond that and say, okay, they're explicitly looking for someone who is able to facilitate and deliver trainings to National Ministry of Health officials, where you've done that, and I've done that. Great. Call that out. And really also, I think beyond that, 5 pages is probably a good general maximum to have for a CV. I think if they are research focused, or they're looking for somebody who, it's a good way to demonstrate technical expertise. So it's a very easy metric to say, this person is a peer-reviewed, published author who is a known entity in their field. And so publications can demonstrate that. They can also just add to your CV. So again, I would say, unless it's something incredibly well known, a mix of different journals, if they're something that's published on a website versus something that's actually published in kind of the Lancet, for example, for health, is a really well-known journal. I might say, put that on your resume. If you need to take something out, take out something that's gone on, the School of Public Health's, website, or that's gone on, a WHO bulletin, unless that bulletin was really widely circulated. So there's a lot of ways where you can go into a rabbit hole with this, but I think the bottom line is, it's good if you're looking at a position in research or to establish technical credibility.